Enagic distributors who have climbed the ladder of success. We're going to be introducing you to some people right now, and they're going to show you what they did. And by the way, we had a big discussion on this because I didn't want any new people up here. Because they wanted Romy to train, and Cynthia to train, and JV to train. Aren't you tired of seeing those people? I love Cynthia. She's one of my best friends. But I don't want to see her on stage no more. She's going to be there tomorrow and the next day and all over. I wanted new people up here so you guys can understand that you can make it. 682. Where's Janine?
Right over here.
Hi, Janine. Come on up. She is going to tell you what she did. Oh, Jerry's thinking. Why did he do it for me? Okay. Janine Jannicelli. Right? That's a very nice Enagic blue.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Hello, San Diego.
Hi.
Are we happy to be in the Enagic family?
Yes.
I can't hear you. Are we happy to be in the Enagic family? And I know when you say that, it's not just because of the money, it's because of the relationships. And that's what is so important. And I know when Danny asked me to be here to train, I was so honored that he asked me to do this. I was jumping for joy. And then when he told me who I was going to be training to, I was even more overjoyed. And I thought, what could I tell all of you when I've been running around the country for the last 7 years, edifying you and looking at you and learning from you? I thought, how on earth could I treat you anything? So Danny said, well, why don't you tell him how you became a 6A and you wrote 30 sales in one day? Ooh, yeah. I won't go into detail because it's a long story, but I did it in one day. The Orlando office, I know that they were there until like 11 o'clock at night writing up these sales. And so I learned that morning that I had not made it because I was 30 sales short and I was devastated. And so I went out and I spent the entire day and I was determined I was going to do it no matter what it took, as long as it was ethical and moral and right, and I did it. So I was excited, and then now I'm a 6A2, which just happened this week. So I'm excited about that. But this is what it's all about. You've got to be positive. And I know a lot of the distributors in this room, and there are different types, two different types of generals. There's an armchair general, and then there's a field general. And Danny has talked about this in trainings before. What type of general are you? Are you the type general that sits in your chair in your beautiful home with your beautiful car out in the driveway, all compliments of Enagic, and you just let your team do their thing, you let them on their own, you let them fend for themselves, and you let them ask questions of other distributors because you're too busy? Or are you the type general that is out there in the field, that is working and hustling and taking your phone calls? Do you know how many 6As and above whose phone voicemails are full and they don't clear their voicemail? I'm serious. So it's great that you're so popular, but if you have a team, how can you expect your team members to call you when they need you and leave a message if your voicemail is full? So that's the kind of general that I am not. My voicemail is never full because I want to be there for my team members, because it's my team members that help me rank up. And I appreciate that fact. And so it's very important that you as a leader don't forget where you came from, who you are now, and who you can train your team to be. Because it's all about you, it's in your hands. And that's why when I first found out about the broke 6As, I thought, how is that possible? You're making all that money. But a lot of them get broke because they do just kind of stop doing everything, and they just say, well, I'll wait for the checks to come in. And eventually they stop. And so that's why if you're an active 6A for your team, 6A and above for your team, you can build your team even more. And I was recently in New York taking Mr. Asobi's training, the master's training, which was phenomenal. And he talked about how important the 1As are in this company. And due to time, I don't have the time to explain it, but if anybody wants to, you can Facebook me. I think everybody in the room knows how to get in touch with me. I will be glad to tell you what he shared about the importance of the 1As in your team. All right, so this is when I became 6A, and people have asked me, what was the epitome of my success as a person. And when I walked across that stage, that was when I finally realized I was successful at something. Because all my life I had felt like, well, I failed at this, and I failed at that, and I failed at this. But when I walked across that stage knowing that my efforts and the efforts of my team created that bonus for me, and that check, and that plaque, and that pin, that meant the world to me, and I felt like a success. It's important that you stay active. Keep focused and driven. Maintain a daily action plan. It doesn't have to be in writing, it can be verbal, but you want to have something every day. Conference calls with your team. Nothing's wrong with doing that. You never get too big to do that. When you have a conference call with your team, it's free, freeconferencecall.com. You can have weekly team meetings and get them energized, get them excited. And it's not about getting on the call to brag about all your checks that are coming in the mail. It's about saying, hey, do you need my help? What can I help you with? Let me know, because I'm there for you. I remember my first 2 years in the business, very few people on my team sold anything. So I sent them all a massive email, and I said, why aren't you sharing the water with people? Because if you were, you'd be making sales. And most of the responses were, I don't have time. I don't want to look like a salesperson. I don't want my boss to think that I'm trying to take all the employees. So I said, well, how about if you go and meet the people, you get me their name and number, you give the water shares if it's going to be water, and I will close the sales for you. I will speak to them, and I will teach you how to do that. And all of a sudden, sales started soaring. And more sales came in, and I thought, wow, that's a great way to do it. And then I trained them on how to do it, because they'd say, I don't understand, I'm getting these checks, I didn't do anything. I go, yeah, you did, you made the first connection. You gave the water, and I just did the rest because I'm really good at closing. So let me show you how to be good at closing. And one of the things that I've always spoken about, no matter where I've spoken at an Enagic event, you have to be proud of this product, all of our products, and you have to be a product of the product. No matter what rank you are, if you're not out there spraying that beauty water and drinking out of a kangen bottle every day and sharing every day of the week, no matter what your rank is, you still need to share. And the reason that this impacted me so deeply was Robin Williams, the famous comedian, was a close friend of mine. And I never, ever shared with him about kangen water, about Ukon, or the business opportunities for his kids. And when he passed away, the first thing I thought was, I wonder if I had shared that with him, what would have happened? And from that day, I made it a point that every day of the week, whether I was 5A, 3A, 6A, and now 6A2, that I'm going to meet somebody, I'm going to tell them what I do. Whether it's very subtle, where it's really bold in their face, whether it's just spraying my face 3 or 4 times, they're like, excuse me, what do you keep spraying in your face? I'm the beauty water queen. I'm like, oh, let me tell you about it. Would you like some? Now, when you go to the mall and you've got people saying, can I ask you a question? You want to run as fast as you can. People don't run from me because they've seen me keep spraying it during a conversation or standing in the checkout line. They want to know what it's all about. And when I tell them I'm almost 60 years of age, they're like, wow, with your complexion? I go, well, that's because of this beauty water. Let me share some more of it with you. And I open up a conversation. So you have to be that way. And if you're somewhere and you see somebody and you hear that they're either broke, or they're sick, or they're sad, or they're going through a divorce, or they're going through a bankruptcy, even at checkout at the Kmart, if you hear somebody talking about something and it's not positive, then share your before Enagic story. Hi. I overheard you say that you're really tired of your job. You know, I've got a really great opportunity. I'd love to share with you if you've got some time. You know, I see that you're not looking too well. You look like you need a break. You look like you're tired of working. I do that all the time, much to the embarrassment of anybody who's with me. I'm in a restaurant, and I've always got my water. I've always got a container of 2.5, 5.5, and 11.5. And when I'm eating my fruits, I'm cleaning them at the table, and people are like, excuse me, what are you doing? I go, oh, I'm getting the pesticides off my fruits and vegetables. You really should do that yourself. And they're like, how do you do that? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. And I started the conversation. So when I'm by myself, it's great. When I'm with other people, they're like, oh God, Janine's going to do it again. But that's how I became a 6A2, because I'm always working, and I'm always promoting, and I'm always trying to get my team members to do that too. And if there's one thing they learned from me, it's to be positive and to be a product of the product. And I've got lots of faults in my life, but one of them is not being passionate and not being positive, because this is the most incredible company in the world with the most incredible products and the most incredible compensation plan, and you will never find anything like it, like you'll hear everybody today and tomorrow say. And you have to know that. And you who've been high ranked, you know it's true because you've been with the company either for a year or 10, 15 years. You know the products and the money's there, so why don't you want to keep making more money, enhance more lives, and then thank the people that are on your team for signing up with you? Because when somebody buys a machine from you, okay, they're part of your team, they made that investment. Don't you want to help them get to where you are? How many in this room really don't really care, and they say, well, you know, I made my money, I don't care if I never hear from them again. I doubt anybody in this room feels that way, or you're just not bold enough to raise your hand. But the point is, you have to be proud of what we do. And if every single day of your life, until you're no longer on this earth, you share what we do with the person that you meet every day, whether it be one person or 20, you will see relationships grow, you will see interest grow in your product, you will see the sales grow, and for all of you that appreciate Mr. Oshiro and this company, you'll be increasing his sales and saying thank you to what you've given me. Okay, thinking outside the box. It's super, super simple to do this, and sometimes people don't want to think out of the box because it takes a little effort. I got laughed out of the room when I started Uber driving as a 6A and telling my team members to do the same, because every time I get in an Uber, they'd have this crappy bottle of water in the back seat of the car for me, and I'd be like, wow, they don't give water back on the East Coast where I live in North Carolina, but they do in LA. And I thought, what a great opportunity. I've got a captive audience. They can't get out of the car. I can say whatever I want to say. Right? I'm holding them hostage. So what I do is I have my 2 little bottles in the back seat with my little kangen label on it with the website, my phone number and everything. And they get in the car. I go, hey, help yourself to some of the alkalized water in the back seat. Oh, what's this? I never heard of this before. I said, drink it, you'll enjoy it. Always have 2 bottles. Sometimes I drive a little slower so they can get a whole bottle through before the ride is over. And I've got brochures in the back of the seat. I've got business cards, and I'm sitting there talking about what I do. And listening to their conversations, sometimes they make a phone call. A lot of people are broke in this world, and a lot of people are sick, and a lot of people are going through divorces and bankruptcies, and they're on the phone with their attorney talking about how they're going to be able to pay this, how their house bill is paid. So I said, oh, my house was in foreclosure. Thanks to this amazing company that produces the equipment that you're drinking that water from, I got my house out of foreclosure, paid off $100,000 in credit cards. They're like, really? And I said, it's not for everybody, but I said, if you want to be healthy and you want to have a better life, check it out. I've got their address, I know where I'm taking them, and I show up the next day with a gallon or 2 of water, and there you go. Newer than 2000, and you're in. That's all you need. And you have to have insurance and do those kind of things. But to make $20 for a ride, and then create a relationship with somebody, and then make a $2,000 commission check, I mean, what was easier than that? So on top of you doing it, tell your downline to do it. Tell the people on your team what you learned today that you're now going to do, and instead of thinking, oh, well, here I am at this rank, if they knew I was driving an Uber, I'd be the laughingstock of town. No, not actually, because if you teach them to do what you're doing, they'll be like, wow, thank you for this amazing idea. I would have never thought about it myself. Can you back it up, Jerry? Because I think I've got a couple more in there. Okay. All right. As far as the captive audience, like I said, they're captive. So sometimes it's not for everybody, and then I love when they get in the car with a bottle of smart water. Before they get to their destination, I go, are you in a hurry? And they go, no. If they say no, I'll say, I would love to test your water because I want you to see what you're drinking before we leave today. And they're like, okay. And I guarantee you when they see the results, they're blown away, as you all know, because it works. Focus groups. How many of you have ever heard of a focus group where they get a bunch of people together and they pay them for their opinion? Anybody heard of that? You go to the malls and they say, excuse me, can I have 10 minutes of your time? I'll pay you $25. Okay? I advertise in different places that I have focus groups for people that want to lose weight, for people that want better health, and for people that want a better life. I get 10, 20, 30, sometimes 100 responses to the ad. I call them back and I say, this is the deal. You've got to spend a week partaking in a product that I'm going to give you for free. There's a couple of little tests you have to take. I'm going to see if you're really partaking in it. I don't tell them it's water yet. And at the end of the week, I'm going to have you, by the way, during the week, I'm going to have you watch a couple of videos. And by the end of the week, I'm going to have you take a little test and tell me what you thought about this product and share it with you. And if you do what I ask you to do, at the end of the week, I'm going to give you $50. So most people would say, oh, okay, I'll do that, you know? Because keep in mind one thing, somebody that's rich, they're not going to be saying, okay, I'm going to come and spend a week for $50. It's going to be someone that's either slightly broke, really broke, or as I always say on my opportunity calls, broker than the 10 Commandments. So they're going to say yes. So if you really believe our products work, and the person does what you ask them to do, at the end of the week, they've earned their $50, they've become a believer in the water, and they say, how much does it cost to get one of these machines? Oh, okay. You want to do more than just take part in the focus study. And it really does work. I can say I probably sold maybe 30 SD501s doing that. And it's not for everybody, but a lot of people don't do what I tell them to do. They don't watch all the videos, and they don't do the research that I've given them, and they don't take the test, they just say yes, yes, yes. And then I'll say, wasn't that amazing testimony from the guy that came from Timbuktu? And they go, yeah, it was. Well, I know they didn't watch the video because there's nothing in the video. So they don't get their $50. So honesty is what gets it. So it's super important. Okay, next, social media groups. This is something a little different, and I only learned this because in my battle with breast cancer the last 2 years, I've been on a lot of different Facebook groups. And the Facebook groups are all talking about some business, some health and wellness, but there are quite a lot of Facebook groups that are created by people that are down on their luck, broke, depressed, feeling that they have no hope, and asking for prayer. And all you have to do is go on your Facebook, type in the subject line, groups for prayer, groups for better lives, groups for sickness and illnesses, groups for whatever. I go into these groups and I read the comments that are being made. And I respond to them. Somebody talks about that, and you'd be surprised how many people go into these Facebook groups and are asking for prayer because they don't want to live anymore. Their life is over, and to them, and they don't want to continue. And I've met so many people in this company who felt that the end was near. They didn't care, they were broke, they were sick, they were unhappy, they had no friends, and they wanted something different. And so I put a little post, PM me if you'd like prayer, and if you'd like to make a change in your life. Now for those of you that don't believe in prayer, you don't have to put that line. But the rest, PM me. You'd be surprised how many people will PM me back and say, yeah, you wrote on my Facebook page. I go, yeah, I understand that you're going through a lot right now, and I've been there before, and I just want to let you know there are opportunities out there, and I've spent over 7.5 years with a company that totally changed my life, my health, my finances, my outlook on life. I would love to share it with you if you like. About 4 out of 10 will say, okay. I make sure those 4 people buy a device, or buy kangen, or buy soap, and become a distributor, a team member, and then start to change their life. And then I help them with that promise. I tell them, I'm going to show you how to do this. And I'm going to be doing this until Facebook is no longer up there, because I believe it's a great way to help people. And then they're posting, oh my God, there's this chick on Facebook, she PM'd me about changing my life, and I'm having this different life now. I've met somebody, got married. All this has come out of being part of this amazing family. So it's super important that you reach out to so many people, because I'll never forget a conversation that I had once with Don Prosser. I was bragging and so excited about being a 6A, and then I was bragging again about all these sales that I made, and he said to me, Mr. Oshiro, you wrote his book, right? And I said, well, I bought the book, but I haven't read it yet. He said, Mr. Oshiro created Enagic for losers. And I had just become a 6A when he said that to me. I stood there with tears rolling down my face and said, what are you talking about? I believed him because I know that he's so close to Mr. Oshiro. He said, well, Enagic was created for losers. And I said, I don't really understand. Are you really trying to burst my bubble here? You're doing a good job of it. He said, when Mr. Oshiro, he said, read it in the book. And he actually went to the book and opened up the page and showed me. When Mr. Oshiro created Enagic, it was to better people's lives. It was to make people overcome adversity. It was to make them happier and more fulfilled than they could ever be in their life. And so he took people that had no job, had no relationships, had poor health, had nothing to live for, and little by little, one glass at a time, he created what he's created to where this company has changed millions of lives all over the world. Now, we haven't sold 10 million devices yet, but I'm sure we touched 10 million people's lives over the course of 45 years. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. So the importance of that's his mission. So I looked at that and I thought, wow. So Don looked at me and said, well, you were a loser before, right? You were broke and you were sick and you didn't have anything to live for, and no relationships, no friends, no family, and now look what you got. And I go, you're right. It's true. And that's what this company can do. And so it's so important that you share that with other people, because you're doing the company a disjustice and injustice. You're doing Mr. Ashura an injustice if you don't share that with people. Because I know that every single distributor in this room has been touched by Enagic, not just with money, not just with water, not just with relationships, but many more things, if not all of the above. And I certainly know I have. The process to Mr. Ashura is Enagic. I'm just the vessel. And last but not least, the kangen water store. Now I have 2 stores in North Carolina, and people are always asking me, oh wow, this costs a lot of money. And I know a lot of you distributors in here have kangen stores. Some of them do really well, and some of them it's a struggle because it costs money to rent space in California. So I'm going to share this little nugget with you. Make sure you take notes, because it's a doozy, and it's made me a lot of money and a lot of relationships being built in my team. I reached out and went to about maybe 50 nutritional stores in my hometown and in the surrounding communities. I went into every store and I asked to speak to the owner, and I asked the owner one of 3 questions. I said, are you having any problems with your health? Do you have any problems maintaining the store or paying the rent? And do you have a problem keeping customers coming back? And when they answered yes to any one of the 3, I said to them, I would like to share something with you. I have a loaner device. I told all about the company. This is to make it short here. Told all about the company, all about the product. I would like to put a device in your facility, in your store. And I would like to keep it there for 30 days to show you. I want you to give the water for free to people, and I want you to just give them the water. Have my brochures and my cards there if they have information. If they have questions, they want to know what it's all about, have them call me. Some of them looked at me strange, some of them took me up on it. One particular one had 2 separate stores, and he said, well, I don't know if this is going to work. I got 2 stores. I said, great, I got 2 loaners. Everybody knows I've got like 14 SD501s I loan out all the time. So I said, fine, I'll be glad to. So I brought it over there. They started giving out the water to people, and the more they gave water, the more people wanted information. Now here I am selling on average 2 to 3 devices a month. I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to pay employee wages. I don't have to pay taxes. I don't have to pay anything. They're getting the water from my loaner, and then of course, after 30 days, I convinced the store owner to buy a device from me, so he has his own. He's now on my team, and then you're building sales. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I like having a business like that where I don't have any outlay of capital, and I don't have to worry about the rent going up, or people quitting on me, or employees stealing the revenue. So this is a really great way that you can build your business, and it doesn't cost you anything. Now, if some of you say, well, I don't have any loaners left to give out, or I don't have any loaners, there's always, where there's a will, there's a way. So I'm sure that if you speak to your team, maybe the team members could get together. I know on my team, I have actually had them get together to put together the money to buy a loaner machine so that we can put it out in other places. And then we've used that to help build the business. So that's just a little tidbit. And for those of you that are now paying $5,000 to $10,000 a month in rent, close the store and go open up somewhere on somebody else's dime. That's the best way to do it. But anyway, I just want to thank you for letting me, I want to thank Danny for letting me come today and speak. And these are the lessons that I've learned in the last 7.5 years, and I'm sure all of you have already learned it, but if you haven't, learn them now, and if you have, then please pass them on to your team, because it's all about what you do for your team members. It's not just about you. It has to be a team effort, and like I said, it's better to be a field general than an armchair general. And to quote a very great man, there's a quote: "A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and the integrity of his intent." And since Enagic was founded and based on integrity, we need to keep that integrity going. And being able to help our team members grow and prosper like we are growing and prospering, and help them make the money and complete the dreams that we have completed and are making, that's integritas, and that's what Mr. Ashura would want all of us to do. Thank you all for being a part of my journey. I love you all.
Wow. Phone? Anyone? Somebody left the phone.
It's right here. My daughter.
Here. Just kidding. Okay. I'll get it to you. Wow.
That was good.
Yeah, she was really good.
Sorry I went over on my time.
You guys, to bring people up here, just so you know, I was talking to the corporate, and I said, don't be bringing people up on stage that doesn't have AAA credibility, that's not committed to the program. It's not just all about money, and they have to have their knowledge. So Janine, thank you very much. That was an excellent choice.